Here's an uncomfortable truth about human nature. Almost everyone has two reasons for what they do. There's the practical reason, the self-interested reason, the private reason they may never say out loud. And then there's the reason they prefer to believe about themselves, the honorable reason, the generous reason, the version that fits the story they tell themselves about who they are. Understanding this distinction can completely change the way you influence people, because most people make the same mistake. When they want someone to change, they attack the selfish motive. They point out the flaw, call out the behavior, expose the self-interest. And it rarely works because nobody wants to see themselves as the villain in their own story. The people who are best at influencing others take a different approach. They appeal to the person's better nature. They speak to the version of that person that wants to be honest, fair, responsible, kind. And in doing so, they give that person something powerful to live up to. Think about how people see themselves. Even when people make poor decisions, they usually have a justification, a story, an explanation that allows them to feel reasonable. Very few people wake up in the morning intending to be selfish or unfair. Most people want to believe they're decent human beings. That's why appealing to that self-image can be so effective. When you treat someone as trustworthy, they often try harder to be trustworthy. When you treat someone as honorable, they often work to deserve that description. You're no longer fighting against their identity. You're inviting them to strengthen it. There's a famous example involving a public figure who wanted to protect his children from unwanted attention. Photographers constantly tried to capture pictures of them. He could have issued demands, threatened legal action, argued. Instead, he chose a different path. He appealed to the photographers as parents. He reminded them that many of them had children of their own. He spoke about the importance of protecting young people from unnecessary publicity. He didn't address them as adversaries. He addressed them as fathers and mothers. And something remarkable happened. Many of them respected the request, not because they were forced to, because they wanted to see themselves as the kind of people who would do the right thing. The same principle works in ordinary life. Imagine a tenant who wants to break a lease early. A landlord could immediately threaten penalties and legal action. The result would probably be an argument. Instead, imagine the landlord saying, "I've always believed you were a person of integrity. I'm confident you'll make the decision you believe is right." That statement changes everything. The tenant is no longer being treated like a problem. They're being treated like an honorable person. And many people will work surprisingly hard to live up to that reputation. Of course, there's an important distinction here. This is not manipulation. It isn't about flattering people with things you don't believe. False praise usually sounds false. People sense it. What matters is sincerity. You're looking for the better qualities that genuinely exist and giving them room to emerge, because most people contain both possibilities, the smaller version and the better version. The question is which one you're speaking to. Will this work every time? No, nothing works every time. But it's based on a powerful observation. Most people would rather live up to a high opinion than sink down to a low one. Most people want to feel respected, trusted, valued, and when someone believes those things about them, they often begin believing them more strongly themselves. So the next time you want to influence someone, resist the urge to accuse them of their worst motives. Don't assume the smallest explanation. Appeal to the best version of who they could be. Give them a reputation to live up to, a standard worth meeting. Because one of the fastest ways to bring out the good in people is to act as though it's already there. Then give them the opportunity to prove you right.